And now let's move on to some international news. Brazil's new interim president, Michel Temer, urges Brazil to trust in the country's capacity to rebuild the economy after Dilma Rousseff is suspended. He was addressing the nation after the Senate voted to back the impeachment trial of Dilma. He has named a business-friendly cabinet that includes respected former central bank chief Henrique Meirelles as finance minister. Rousseff denounced her removal as a farce and sabotage. Brazilian President Rousseff was suspended on Thursday and will now face impeachment, and for the duration of this, at least up to 180 days, she will remain suspended from the office of president. Vice President Michel Temer has taken over, bringing to an end 13 years of leftist rule over Latin America's biggest nation.
Brazil's senators have voted to carry on impeachment proceedings against President Dilma Rousseff, with 55 of the 81 members of Brazil's upper house voting in favor of the motion. 22 voted against. Speaking through the night, 71 of the chamber's members spoke ahead of the electronic vote, which took hours and ended ultimately in Rousseff's temporary removal from office. The final speech of the 20-hour session was voiced passionately by Attorney General José Eduardo Cardoso, who called the move an historic injustice.
An honest and innocent woman is right at the moment being condemned. The judicial pretense is being used to oust a legitimately elected president over acts which have been practiced by all previous governments.
Rousseff, the country's first female president, will step aside immediately, and Vice President Michel Temer will assume the presidency for the time that Rousseff is obliged to step aside. She will now face an impeachment trial, and for the duration of this, at least up to 180 days, she will remain suspended from the office of the president. The past few months have been a roller coaster for the embattled president, who has been at the center of a battle for her impeachment, including procedural and legal appeals to annul the vote heard. Corruption allegations have been dogging Rousseff's administration since 2011. A sweeping investigation into a multi-million-dollar kickback scheme at the state-run oil company Petrobras embroiled dozens of the country's leading businessmen and politicians. While she isn't accused directly of profiting, Rousseff was the chairwoman of Petrobras during many of the years of the alleged corruption. In December, a bid to impeach Rousseff was launched by the then Speaker of the lower house of Congress. She has been also blamed for the worst recession since the 1930s, now in its second year. Both pro- and anti-impeachment protesters gathered outside the Congress in Brasilia as the Senate pressed ahead with a vote on whether to put President Dilma Rousseff on trial for impeachment on grounds of breaking budget laws. Rousseff's supporters have vowed to take to the streets in retaliation, ensuring a long and potentially messy battle ahead. Newsnight Desk, DD News.